Okay. So first thing I want to ask is, with these kids, um, how have the mentalities changed since we came through the pandemic and where we are now?
When you say mentality, like related to like their
Okay,
education,
so I just seen a good clip Dion put out. I forget.
Deion Sanders.
Yep, I forget who
Okay.
the people are behind it. But what it was saying is, like when he was growing up, like probably you too. Like, we played everything. It's just kind of like, okay, this is over with. Let's go do this. And it taught you like, okay, you can pick up one and put one down. Like I'm mad that I lost, but I know I can get joy out of going to do this too. So I don't see that a lot. It's like, okay, like it's mainly like, oh, you push towards one thing, or you got a lot of cases where because they didn't get that social experience, sit in the house.
Yeah, I mean, from an academic, like, so from the classroom standpoint, what's funny is you can see that a lot of them crave that social interaction,
Mm-hmm.
but it's almost like the grades are like socially they're less mature. So I'll have like a sixth grade, especially last year we had a sixth grade group
Mm-hmm.
operated like kind of like third and fourth graders. So they had the hormones and stuff of sixth graders, but the way they interacted with one another was very like I'm gonna tell the teacher. I don't know. It was very like the last time they had been in school was third grade,
Mm-hmm.
so mentally you saw them doing things that like you may see fourth graders do.
Yeah.
Um, and then this year, I'm trying to think of an example last year, but we had a lot of tantrums in class.
Mm-hmm.
Like we had kids, you know, who would, not get quote unquote what they want and then throw a tantrum.
Gotcha.
And that would translate like on the like at recess recess time they're maybe playing football or they're playing. Sometimes they play basketball. They play more football and soccer and
Mm-hmm.
like sometimes volleyball, but their abilities to have a disagreement about something and be able to move on. No, it's tantrum. I'm gonna run all over the place, kind of a situation.
Gotcha.
So I would say that's probably number one. And then number two, because they got so used to, when you're at your house, you can turn off the screen, you
Mm-hmm.
can walk away, you can kind of not have to persist through something that's difficult.
Yep.
And then you put them back in the classroom and they're faced with a challenge, you can't turn the screen off. How do you handle it? You
Right.
know what I
Right.
mean? So I felt like a lot of teachers in my school in particular were teaching students how to persist, how to overcome challenges, how to not shy away from a challenge. And I think those two, you know, are walking hand in hand. But then you're seeing some of these younger grades as they come in, they're benefiting from, oh, I know we had the pandemic, but I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
So now when you go back into school, it's like they kind of have a jump on some of the older kids.
Yep. Yep. So okay. So I definitely understand that. It's just I see it with some guys. I'm just kind of like you know from a standpoint that don't make sense, right? But I'm not gonna kill you over it. Just let's just go have a conversation with everybody else not around because I don't know how you gonna feel about that. So
And so you're probably dealing with you're dealing with freshman and sophomore, but
mm-hmm.
are they still like freshman and sophomore in high school with their mentality?
They interested, man.
Playing competitively. Like think about it, they're playing with masks on and all that
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff in their past couple of years of school, and maybe not having the gym size or the audience, because that character builds sometimes having to deal with pressure situations
Mm-hmm.
based on being in the moment when you're varsity basketball. But if you don't have that, you haven't gone through those same experiences.
Yep.
Now you're in college and you're like, oh, I'm experiencing this for the first time, and I haven't had my war wounds yet. You haven't
Mm-hmm.
had that failure that you had to build upon.
Yep.
So,
We had one of them. He's gonna be real good for us, but his issue mainly was a little bit what you're saying, and then he would think that it's mainly just a call situation. Like the referee don't hate you, you just can't get every one. Like yeah, did they play Karate Man with you when you got to the rim? Most definitely. But look, that man is not an expert on karate. He just let it ride. Get back on defense. Don't get a technical foul. Please just don't get a technical foul. Because then you got to come sit next to me. And you're not going to like my conversation.
But that goes back to that emotional regulation. Like, did you have interactions that helped you to be able to, like, regulate your emotions? Even with my own son, he started kindergarten online.
Oh, yeah.
It was tough. And then last year he went into the classroom, had a tough time at first grade, and now we're finally getting him back into the groove and dealing with like how you operate in a classroom as a functional student.
Right. Understood.
As a parent, man, I don't. Yeah, I've learned a lot these past few years.
Gotcha. Understood.
I once read this book called Developing Talent in Young People.
Yep.
I forgot who the author was, but early on, so what the dude did was he interviewed like all these people who had they achieved the highest point of their field. They had athletes and musicians and I think mathematicians and all these type of people. And he said that after they interviewed all these people who had achieved the highest in their field, they found like some commonalities. And one was early on, they had this romantic phase where they learned the sport or whatever it is they were interested. They did a lot of things, and their parents allowed them to be in a lot of things. But they started to gravitate towards one sport. So I'd say, the first piece of advice is like, give your child a lot of opportunities, and they're going to gravitate to something.
Right.
Then he said, as they were getting older, what happened was they found like a very experienced coach.
Okay.
And they went through this phase of once they got super interested in something,
they
went through this phase of getting this structured teaching. So after your child shows that interest and they're like, moving in a direction, try and find, whatever team or like some type of coach who has some type of reputation who can help them to hone their skill, like really understand how to play whatever it is that they're doing.
Gotcha.
And then what ended up, after they worked with this like coach for a while or tutor or whoever it was, and they got good at knowing what to do, they had to learn how to break the rules. And so they went from doing everything the right way to developing their own style.
Yep.
So that creativity and being able to break the mold and define themselves or their identity within whatever it was that they were learning. And I think I read that book a long time ago, but this past weekend, watching my son play football, I've been a coach for like 20 years. So it's interesting being on the parent side when you've coached before and you're like trying to understand stuff. And I thought back to that book this past weekend and I was like, you know what? Even my son said it to me. He was like, Dad, I'm supposed to listen to the coach, not you. And it kind of checked me. I was like, you know what? That's true. Like sometimes as a parent, we got to step back and let things kind of play themselves out. And every once in a while, I'll talk to my son and I'll be like, can I give you some advice? And sometimes he'll be like, no. And sometimes he'll be like, yes. And then we'll have a conversation. But, I'm just playing it by ear. I want him to be, like, I'm a basketball guy. He's fallen in love with football. And I'm really just trying to put him in a situation. Like, this summer was like, hey, let's go out. I want to go play and throw the ball. And he's kind of the one that's, like, pushing me. I don't have to push him as much in the football. Now, every once in a while, he'd be like, hey, I just want to bring my basketball out. But, like,
Mm-hmm.
letting him kind of have these experiences and being there for him, I think, is, like, kind of, that's my role right now.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the most important things. It's like you see so many people trying to push them into something. No, let them fall into what they want to do so that way they can be the best version of themselves. And then
Exactly.
exactly like you saying about the rule breaker, whenever I teach stuff, if we're gonna go and do something we know we shouldn't be doing at that angle, well, if in order for you to break the rule and make it right, you can't be out here 50%. You gotta break it twice. So that means if you gotta add
Exactly.
an extra flick to that shot because you falling away, this is what we got to do today. Otherwise, that's not going in, and then all of the staff is gonna be looking at you. What you do that for? So let's eliminate the consequence and let's figure out how we can make you look good while you're out there and do it efficiently too.
Yep,
Yep.
for sure.
So.
No, but, no, this was simple. I thought you had,
No, no, I don't kill nobody with no questions because what I'm trying to do is build up a situation where there are things that are tools to help people in situations so that way it's not just about me in the situation because I know what I didn't have. It is not the fact that I didn't have it. There were people around me that didn't know how to articulate that to me so that way I knew how to move. So if we can solve those kind of problems, then we can get to the real issues. But we got to at least have, a foothold to be like, all right, this is this. Okay, cool. These kids need this. And just like I just told a kid on Twitter, I keep telling kids on Twitter, hey, I know you're hitting up the college page, but please follow my Twitter page so that way I can help you. Now, when I
I
help
think
you,
I'm
what I'm
following
saying
yours.
is, hmm,
I think I'm following yours. I gotta
no.
see.
So,
Cause I remember you hit me back. You started this during pandemic, right?
I started
Or
right
right?
after.
Oh, right after. Okay.
Yep. And it was mainly because I know the kids gonna reach out because they're reaching out to the college. Okay, cool. You want to play in college, but the thing about it is, I think there's just not enough access to us. So thus, we can't fix a problem you can't get a hold to. And it's always the same thing, same thing, same thing. Like I just put on Twitter too that there was a kid that literally he was saying like, okay, would you look at my open gym footage? But I had to ask him, okay, open gym footage from where? So LA Fitness, I'm like, nah, bro, like don't don't do that because I'm not gonna want to see it now unless you 7-7 or something like that. No, I don't want to see that because it's not gonna be accurate as far as like who you playing against. I don't know these people. I want to be
Nope.
able to look at rosters. I want to be able to see what kind of offense you run. I want to see how you move. I want to see when you sit down if you slump on the bench. There's certain things that we want to see as coaches, so I can say, hey, this is a good dude because it's somebody I never met. Number one. Number two, I just want to make sure that you're moving the way you should be moving, so that way if I do make a call for you, you're not gonna go over there and embarrass me. Because then I got somebody like, hey, get your guy. Like, no, 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 no. I don't want that phone call, and neither do you want the phone call of me calling you after you did
That's
that.
interesting though. I hadn't heard that the open gym footage.
He tried to send me some open gym foot. I'm like, boy, if you don't go
I
back to your
mean,
high school.
I guess it's maybe more authentic than a highlight reel, but
Yep.
you gotta, yeah. Like who was in the
Mm-hmm.
gym?
Now see if you happen to get into Lifetime Sky or something, yeah, okay, that's valid. But logo LA Fitness, nah, bro, like nah. That's not something I want to see
Like,
tonight.
were you in LA? Some of them runs be.
Like, was that really you? This you? Okay. Cause we
It's
had.
funny when I worked at Judson,
Uh-huh.
we had this guy. I forgot his name. I think it was Caleb or something. He sent us this tape, and he. I don't know if it was highlight or nothing, but he had a couple things, and then just one of them was him jumping basically from the free throw line in a game. Boom!
Mm-hmm.
And and it was like a couple clips. Come to find out, I think he didn't play much in high school.
Mm-hmm.
But he came to the school, and I think he ended up playing overseas after he graduated from Judson.
Gotcha.
But yeah, every once in a while you can take a risk here and there,
Yeah.
Depending on who the person is. But you
Mm-hmm.
never know what you're gonna get.
Right, and he's speaking the right way, but he asked the question before he sent it. He just didn't say here, so it was just kind of
Oh, he
okay.
didn't even just send it.
Nah, he didn't just send it. He was just trying to figure out because he's trying to get his high school coaches, I think, to respond to him. So I don't know if these gentlemen are still in the same position. Maybe that's the wrong number now. Like you never know. But he's trying to speed up the process because I was like, okay, obviously he should be a college freshman this year. Okay. Well, no, he should be a college sophomore. I'll take that back.
Okay.
So he went somewhere, and he's in a really, really tough region down there. Like D1 drop downs and all kinds of people come through there all the time. So he's in a tough spot. I get that. I explained that to him. So I need the proper footage so I can like, oh, okay, this is this. Okay, how do you measure up to what they bringing in? Because what people don't realize is right. Oh, one of them. He gonna run. So I think the main thing, the kids don't understand that it's job security bringing in the Division One drop down. We understand that, yeah, that kid might go score 1,000 points this year, but he's going to a Power Five after he leaves here. And I had a good example with that too, because there was a kid that we had recruited. He was from way far down Southern Illinois, almost down by Cairo or Cairo, however you want to say it. So he was way down there. I think it was at well, I keep wanting to say Mounds Meridian, but that's not right. I'll figure out what high school it was eventually. So he's way down there. He chooses to go to Odessa. Well, you know that's where Jesse went, and that's also Craig Elo and all these other Larry Johnson. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Larry Johnson.
Yeah, that's not a regular spot that you just about to pull up and I'm about to kid. Nah, bro. Like if they recruit you, they don't want you. I'm sorry to say, but hey, unless you show up and you break a backboard or something, it's probably not gonna happen. So that kid decides to go down there that we tried to talk to, and his older brother was there too. Older brother, I think, left there and went to Tennessee State or somewhere like that. So older brother was a decent player. He was a decent player too. He went NAIA and then eventually transferred Division II. So they could play, but they had a kid that dropped down from Florida State, showed up there. When I kid you not, he put up 1,000 points that season. This happened. And it was just kind of like, we were just looking on NJCAA every night, like, okay, what'd he do? Oh, he had 55 tonight. What'd he do? He had 64 tonight. It was just kind of like, he was just destroying people. It was just kind of like, this is disgusting. Yeah, we were just into it. So you got them kind of situations, and kids don't understand when they just roll up to these places. So that was one of the reasons why, too, I want to give some of these coaches some light so you can know who this person is, because we all sound the same in the email. You don't see me, I don't see you. It's nothing but words. But if you know how I am and how I move, you might be able to make the best decision for yourself. And also what I'm starting to do too is I want to put together pictures of all of these campuses, and eventually as I start to travel, I want to roll up to your campus and do like a campus tour so now we know what it looks like, so that way there's no question of it. Now they do have those, but who's accessing it or who's putting it on Front Street? I just want to make it on Front Street.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and these days with so many programs and all that kind of stuff, you're gonna be like this curator of like these are the spots that you might want to get votes from and stuff like that. That's gonna be big, man.
I'm working. Now I gotta after I get off with you, I gotta finish uploading one of my interviews with Lance Robinson. He's one of the guys that's running NCSA for the area now, but he also coaches at Waubonsie. So it's just kind of like, you don't even know like what my mans do during the day. But I know I couldn't ask him that on the, on the spot, because that's just not for everybody. No, I get that. But at the same time too, those are the kinds of situations that we got to present to people, because they don't even know that's there. He right under your nose.
That is funny, because when I was in Carbondale, do you guys play John A. Logan at all?
John A. Logan, no. They don't come up this far, and we really don't go down that far. So that's a totally separate region. That's Region 24.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they used to get some legit players.
Yeah, they just had the kid that so when the Patino, I think it was Patino, yeah, when the whole Patino thing went down, he decommitted from Louisville and then went there and then got drafted. I believe he's on the Blazers.
Oh, really?
I'll send you a video. That boy's tough.
Okay.
He's tough.
Which one?
He went to Logan. I can't remember his name right now, but he decommitted. He didn't sign to Louisville, but he had verbal, and it was just kind of like, well, this is where he's going.
No, I mean, if he in the league, he in the league.
Yep. And they drafted him. He wasn't a free agent, so I think he got picked at the end of the second round. But yeah, he can play.
Okay.
He's like a 6'7" wing.
And that's pretty much what they want.
Right. It's just kind of like, where's he going?
If you can shoot, you a 6'7" wing.
Yeah, exactly.
All you gotta do is be able to move your feet just a little bit.
And when it's time for him to take off, yeah, don't jump. Don't.
It's
yeah.
that kind of.
It's that action. Like he was You know, like Ball is Life and everybody pulling up and stuff like that. They was pulling up to them games, making highlight reels while the game was going on. Like it was unreal with that kid down there. But
So
that's
you gonna eventually like, yeah, okay, you're gonna be in that same genre, that Ball is Life genre.
mm-hmm. And that's something too that I know a couple of people in the Elgin I want to eventually rope in, but at the same time too, I gotta build it before you know what I'm saying they actually see the value in it. Even though I believe they listen to me, but
Proof
you
of
still gotta
concept,
prove it
yeah.
for sure. So that's more or less what I'm trying to get at now. And I want to try to bring all my people with me that got something to say about this problem that we all have experienced that problem just in different ways.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right, man. Let me know what I can do.
Yep, for sure.
I'm here to support in any way.
All right, brother. I'll hit you up again.
All right, no problem.
Have a good
All
one.
right, talk to you.
Bye.
Yeah, I got it. We on the move. We on the move.